rise across my path. Sky becomes an acid bath, spitting down my dirty rain, swooping on a wagon train. Dogfight of the country's youth, knife fight in the telephone booth. Fight the fight, believe it's right, to the end of the wingless flight.
A few months ago, I met Percy Jones, the club archivist, historian for the rugby club here. I had a few photos of when I played and when I coached at the club in the 1990s, and Percy didn't have them in his collection. Percy, being enthusiastic, wanted to show me his collection. And rummaging through all these old photos that he's collected, he shows me a team photo of the 1914 team that represented Carmarthen RFC. Percy couldn't really put names to faces, and when I looked at it, I immediately saw in the front row seated James Ira Taffy Jones, Sinclair's man that played for this club and was a highly decorated World War I pilot. Percy then revealed his database of players going back to the 1880s, and in it were all the players' names that have played for the club. Names start popping out to me as I scanned the document. Parcel Rhys Bowen, another air ace of the Great War from Abergwili. And up on the wall of the clubhouse is a photo of the president of 1912-1913 season, Mr. David King, and there he is in his officer's uniform. Researching, then I find a WRU press release. Welsh rugby clubs have been invited to take part in a global rugby tribute to all players who gave their lives during World War I. The ambitious project will see a monument erected in France as a permanent reminder of the sacrifices made by so many brave men. There will also be a book of remembrance in which the names of players from clubs around the world will be recorded. Over 100 years ago, the Welsh Football Union, which was the Welsh Rugby Union of its day, issued this statement. Considering that our players comprise the very pick of men eligible for service in the army, and considering that Welsh men have the reputation for not being wanting either in patriotism or pluck, we feel we shall not appeal in vain. If only every man in every first 15 in Wales were to enlist, what a magnificent body there would be at the service of our country. And even then, there would still be plenty of players left to enable the game to be played as usual. We therefore appeal with confidence to all Welsh rugby football players, untrammelled by imperative domestic ties, not to allow any selfish reason to prevent them from answering the urgent call of their king and country. The propaganda of this country was coming at these men from all angles, and I'm sure that hundreds of men would have left this town to enlist in the army within the first few months of the war being declared. And although we have great respect for the men who left this club and died during the Great War, it's far more difficult to find out about the men who survived. Those teams that went out onto the park just behind me and played in the games representing the club, then went to the battlefields of the Somme and of Passchendaele. And a lot of the men came back.
While I thought I could fly beauty in the sky, it's a bird of prey decoration.
So we are attempting to find as much information about men who survived as well as those who died. Each man has a story, and more research adds levels of knowledge to what these men and their families went through 100 years ago. Obviously, their involvement in the war binds the young men together. The other common denominator, and at the centre of their lives pre-war and post-war, for those who survived, was their involvement in the game of rugby and in their rugby club, the Harlequins of Carmarthen. On Friday, February the 17th, the clubhouse will host a great war exhibition. The Tin Shed Larn, the Back to the Front Experience Morva Bay Pendine, Jeff Phillips, a Swansea World War I artist, and Mr. T.S. Thomas, a Carmarthen artist, will all exhibit in the afternoon with artefacts, paintings and mannequins. But the centrepiece will be the Quins players of 100 years ago. The club will display the stories and photographs of the known players of the era, and it will be open to schools and the general public with free entry. The exhibition will be officially opened at 1 p.m, and it is hoped that the day will encourage people to come forward with their accounts of the Great War. Stories can be added, and hopefully the database of stories related to the club will grow. At 7:30 in the evening, Trenchfoot, a folk rock band, will launch their new CD, Whispers. And again, it's free entry and open to the public. I look forward to seeing you all Friday, February the 17th at the Quins Club.
He led his men on the long, long trail, a quiet man who would not tell his tale.